Hello, everyone. My name is Natalia Rudevich. I will be the one who will moderate the current meeting. And I'm very happy to start this first event as the support of SPE and SPE talks only for SPE members. So the main idea here for us is to meet people within our industry or supporting our industry with different backgrounds and able to ask questions and get some answer, get some insights and share our knowledge and try to get as much as possible ideas which are currently on a global world, and we all know the world is changing heavily currently. And I do believe that such kind of talking will support us with some additional ideas. And today we start with our first presenter. And I'm happy to introduce Oxana, whom I met a couple of years ago. And it was quite interesting situation because she contacted me through LinkedIn profile and she hunted me for some top position. And I can say that I will highly recommend it to talk to her, as she has a huge background in searching for the top management personnel. But first of all, I would like to get a couple of words to say to Yuri and Kosmin, the head of Ukrainian and Romanian sections, just in order to explain what we are going to do and what SPE members would like to have from this event. Yuri?
Добрий день, everybody. It's a great honor for SPE Central Ukraine section to host a truly international event because here present our members and also members from Romania. And thanks to Natalia, we had hunted Oxana. We hope that Oxana will share with us the secrets of employment at the executive level, and more CEOs of Shell, BP, and so on will be people from this pool of participants of this session. I would like to also address our message from the point that we are going to organize such events on a just monthly basis. So we are kindly inviting all our honorable guests that are now present here at this meeting, just to write to me or Natalia, and we will be very glad if you will share with us your knowledge, experience, approach with all over our section and so on. So thank you, and we welcome you to be active and propose yourself as a speaker for the next session. Thank you. Can't hear you, Natalia.
Excuse me, Kosmin, can you please?
Yeah, I'll be short. Thank you very much for the invitation for this interesting presentation. So I think it's important not only to learn the technical side of this industry, but it's also important how to sell yourself, to get a job, and also maybe to get better salary. And my expectations from this meeting is to hear tips and tricks, a lot of tips and tricks from Oksana, and for sure we'll learn, or at least I will learn a lot in this meeting. Thank you very much for the invitation once again.
Okay, thank you guys. So the couple of rules, I would like just first of all, can I ask the participants to turn off your cameras, because I would like to get as much as possible to see Oksana's presentation. It will be great. The first of all, second one, yeah. So we all understand that we will mute our microphone for during the session. we expect, and as Oksana has a lot of practical knowledge, I am highly recommended to ask questions. Questions you can ask in any time during the presentation. Please just send it into the chat. I will follow up on that, and I will be one who will present it to Oksana. You can send the questions in any language. Exclude Romania, so I'm Romanian, I'm still not good on that. Yes, exclude bună dimineața, that's it. And so please send your questions and I will be able to transfer it to Oksana, and we are going to do it in such way. Oksana will shortly present her presentation. It will be like a couple of slides. During the presentation, please send the questions, then we are going to session question answer. Also, and as Yuri mentioned, I highly ask you to send your proposal for the next meetings. So if you will have some ideas whom better to host here in our SPE talks, please let us know. Okay, Oksana, and yeah, thank you and welcome, and floor is yours.
Great. Well, finally, I can speak. Fantastic. Natalia, thank you so much for inviting me to this amazing event to share my experience, to share my thoughts on what's happening in the oil and gas industry. And thank you everyone for joining. And I hope that this presentation and my sharing my practical experience of executive search and executive coaching will be of use to you. So please set your intention. My intention is to inspire you and to give you as much value as possible within the next hour that we will spend together. Thank you again for inviting us, and Natalia, I'm really looking forward to this very lively discussion. I hope it's going to be that way. Okay, so can you turn to the next slide, please? So I said something about intention, very important. And next one is I'd like to share with you my personal journey. I'm Ukrainian. Born in Ukraine, had a just normal childhood, really nothing very special about me, apart from having big dreams, basically. And when I was at university, I remember in one of our sociology subjects, our professor said, well, Ukraine is not going to be a very nice place to live for the next 30 years. And I thought, okay, so what does it mean for me? So I started looking at where I can realize my life, where I want to, and how I want to live my life. So I actually went to study in Australia. I did bachelor degree in history and political science, and then after that I had few options what to do: to study law, to study accounting, something practical. And then I basically learned about MBA, and I thought MBA was a good place for me to continue my education, and I'm glad that I did, because it opened up the whole new world for me. And from there I basically entered the world of recruitment. Australia wasn't big enough for me, so I headed off to London, and that's where basically my actual career started in executive search. So a bit of a journey for me, changing countries, a challenge, not knowing exactly what I want to do, and basically only in my early 30s I found what I wanted to do and where I was really good fitting into this world. So I just wanted to share this with you, because you might be feeling that you are not knowing in which direction you're going, but you know, life will take you to the right places, and I'm absolutely convinced of that. So since coming to London, I have started in executive search as a researcher. Then I being me, being ambitious, always searching for new opportunities, for growth, for more earnings. I met someone who said, well, you need to follow the money. And that actually sticks with me. And I recommend you also to keep that in mind, follow the money. And so I moved into consulting work. And then from there, I became a partner. So I worked for big and small boutique executive search companies. And I just ended up by chance as a researcher in energy and natural resources practice of Norman Broadband, one of the largest UK executive search firm. And so I basically fell in love with it because it's international, the industry that has amazing people, it's very diverse, it's very challenging, you have ups and downs in the industry, you see companies starting, companies growing, companies going down. So it's never really boring in the oil and gas industry. And obviously, right now we're experiencing unprecedented period of, I would say, overall sort of energy sector where we have all sorts of things happening, and I'll speak about that a little bit later. So 20 years in executive search, hiring top executives for oil and gas companies and every other sort of subsector companies such as oilfield services, EPC companies, specialist consulting companies. So I'm saying this because you need to see that the oil and gas industry is very diverse. Okay, there are different players, and I remember times when everybody from operating companies was moving into service companies, and service companies were moving into operating companies. So it's as I said, it's always interesting how things are developing according to various changes that are taking place in the economy, in global economies, or geopolitical and commodity prices. So it's very exciting industry. So after, I think in 2014, when oil price went down quite a bit, there were changes in the oil and gas sector. So I was at the crossroad in my career, and I decided that I didn't want to join another search firm. So was searching a little bit more of what else I want to do, because I didn't want to continue doing the same thing and not really growing in any way. So I was kind of, even after finishing my MBA, I felt that I wanted to become to be my own boss, basically, you know. So and it's always been my theme throughout my career. So starting a business was a challenge, and I am now running an executive search, executive coaching, and executive career coaching business, which is a lot of fun. And I'm also a career advisor to the top business school in the world, which came out just last year. I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to dive deep into this world of future executives. I will be advising MBAs and executive MBAs graduates from London Business School. So it's a very exciting time for me, and I'm also doing all I can during this time to help Ukraine. If I can't be on the front line, I am either on the informational war side or charity, and particularly last year an opportunity came up to support small to medium business owners in Ukraine in manufacturing and engineering sectors. So I am coaching them to improve their leadership style and address various issues that can contribute to their personal and professional growth. So next slide. this was a bit longer than I wanted to do, but Natalia, you keep me on time, please, and I'll try to go through this very quickly. So this slide is about your career steps, basically. This is particular for petroleum engineers. So you start as an individual contributor, but actually this applies to every possible profession. So you start as an individual contributor, then you move to become a team leader. You move into your first sort of management role. And for technical specialists, it's mostly about becoming an integrator. And then from an integrator, you move into the next step where you take up more senior positions. So this is the typical career steps sort of pyramid. Next slide, please. Well, while I was preparing for this presentation, I thought I would like to give you some ideas because I hope that everybody who is on the call have great ambitions. You wouldn't be here if you didn't really want to make a success of your career. So I thought, okay, so let me show you guys what a typical profile of a six-figure executive looks like. Okay, so here is a big.
Can I propose, Oksana? Yeah, so just because we will share this with our team, and I would like them to read through this because it's quite a lot of information, and I believe this is.
I'm not going to read about
it.
So the slides will be available.
Yeah.
But I'd like you to actually pay attention. It's amusing to me because this particular profile is about 25 years old, and you can actually see that it's all he is this and he is that, but it's very close to what I'm observing even today. Even though we have a completely different world, we have a huge push for diversity in senior management, in executive appointments, all the way up to board of directors. So, but actually, what it actually says is that pay attention to the breakthrough at the age of about 35, right? So this is what you need to aim for, that you have to break your $100,000, for example. So it just to give yourself some sort of goals and set yourself some sort of ideas. Then also what it says is that you really need to work hard. It really is about, it's about taking new responsibilities. So how you grow, how do you actually move up in career ladder? You take new responsibilities. You are not shining away from some challenges and expecting that someone is going to recognize you and you will be promoted or be given this job. It also says that success comes from what you know. It's about your results. It's about what your track record is, and that particular, because there were thousands of executives in the United States that were basically researched, and this profile has come out, right? So you really need to build up a track record, show real results. It's what you know and not who you know, even though I would slightly challenge that, because we'll talk about how you actually sort of build around yourself support system, including your mentors, including networking, including potentially coaches and things like that. So read this through, but keep in mind that it's just as an illustration of what, and if you look, I've seen thousands of profiles of executives at the top level and board level, and I talk to people like that all day long, basically, so it's pretty much, it's quite accurate, apart from gender, because women are certainly in great demand.
The sums. So my understanding correct, that the guys who would like to get more than 1 million per year, they should read through and understand that like how they are set up themselves. So it's like checklist for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a checklist, but it's also a little bit amusing.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
actually, what I'd like to say to guys, and I don't know about girls, that it says that a successful executive is married, never divorced. So please, make your choices of your partners in life, and it's actually very true. So most of the executives that I know worked with over the past 20 years, they are married. They have about 4 children, 2, 3, 4 children, never divorced, and also interesting about their political affiliations and styles of how much they drink. They say that they drink moderately, but their peers drink more than they do, but they say so. But it's
okay, I got it. Yeah.
amusing. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, so what as I said, I absolutely love what I do now, because I've done kind of, in a way, I was able to bring together all of all of my experience, talents, interests together, and I've created something for myself that I absolutely love every day of my life. And that's something I want to deliver to you as well, that you need to be mindful that, yes, you need to strive and have an ambition for success, but success and happiness doesn't necessarily, it's not the same thing. So, but I'll maybe speak about that a little bit later. But these 3 C's that I have actually distilled through my absolute intense, because in 2014 I took about 2 years off to study coaching, to get certification as a life coach and executive coach from Cambridge University. So combining, I think it's quite unique, because you won't find a lot of practicing search consultants as well as coaches. These are slightly different things, but it gives me an insight. So I coach people who face career challenges because they want to improve their situation, and I also headhunt for top positions. So I see things from both sides, including even what companies are doing wrong in terms of their people's policies and things like that. So 3 C's is clarity. So I've developed these 3 pillars on which I base my coaching. So clarity, really, a lot of people don't know what they want. They don't have really clear goals. They don't have ambitious goals. So, and they also don't know their own values. So you really need to get that clarity about yourself, and this applies actually to any stage of your career progression, basically. Then confidence, again. So if you don't value yourself, you don't know your value. If you experience some confidence issues, then it will be difficult for you to achieve the highest levels of career success. And then communication, my favorite one. This is all about how you present yourself. It's all about job search strategies, networking, how you LinkedIn profile, social media. So and also how you communicate with other people. So it's about your soft skills. I prefer human skills, because, and I'll explain a little bit later why I think it's better to sometimes we use some words and we don't necessarily know why we use them. And I, like networking, for example, I prefer professional connections or rather than networking, because everyone is like getting like I hate networking or something like that. So these 3 C's are all about standing out, knowing your value, having goals, and that's something that I find helps a lot in when you are actually thinking about your career, where you are and where you want to get to. Next slide, please. Okay, career blocks. I thought I would share this with you. Perhaps some of you are experiencing them now. Own limitation. This is about not really believing in it, kind of like having certain types of beliefs that are not helping you to progress in your career. So self-imposed limitations, so things like I don't know enough, I don't basically, things that actually stopping you, your own convictions, or something that was imposed on you during your childhood, during, or society. And hope this we can discuss a little bit during this.
Actually, we have the one question regarding this block, and I would like to ask it now, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So the people asking, for example, like, okay, so I have some education, I have some knowledge on some stage, but when I read through the vacancies, I find that it's a lot of more knowledge required. So what you propose as a coach for career, what is proposal from you? So better to go somewhere to get education, and sometimes it takes 5 years, or just start and moving with some vacancies and interviews. What is your advice on that?
Okay. So what I understand is this. You guys need to be a little bit more savvy about how job descriptions are written, right? And trust me, most job descriptions are not written very well. Okay, so they are not actually reflecting the reality of what it is that the hiring company, the hiring manager is looking for. So look at job descriptions as guidelines, right? And then see where you can fit in. And the interesting fact that I can share with you that, for example, if you have 10 points in terms of skills or experience that is listed on the job description, and for example, a woman looks at it and she kind of ticks all 9, and then only one she doesn't missing, she doesn't apply. It's proven. It's proven. Most guys, for example, they see 10 points and they can do 1, and they say, I am an expert in this. Okay, so and that's therefore, and who do you think is gonna win? Obviously, somebody who says, I can do it. Okay, so maybe I didn't do it exactly that way. I'm not saying that, it's just hypothetical, but you see where I'm going with this. So yeah, I would say that it's all about calibrating. What is it that you want to do? Why are you applying for this job? What is it going to give you? And then present yourself accordingly. And if you are confident, if you can find examples of why you were successful. For example, you haven't done anything in this area, but you have done something successful in a completely different area. Use that to leverage yourself in basically convincing a hiring manager, a recruiter, that you are a good candidate, or you're the best candidate for the role. So, yeah, a lot of the time its own limitations that prevent you from moving forward in your career. And then blocked by success, and again, if you're doing your job too well, your manager will not want to move you, right? Not what you, it's just the fact, basically. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do your job very well, but just be mindful of that in terms of how you want to develop your career and move forward. Then wrong place. Wrong place is about industries, and it's a good case here. So how do we look at the oil and gas industry? Is it a growing industry or is it a declining industry? What are you going to do with it? So do you stick with it, or do you find opportunities somewhere else? Again, it's very individual, very much depends on a country where you're in and so on. And let's talk about that, you know, how to do how to go about that. So and other wrong place, like maybe a reputational issue with the company that you're working with, you know, so there could be that the company could be a target of M&A. So usually the company that takes over another company means that your position is under threat and you will be kicked out, basically, you know, so that's potential block. So watch out for that. Blocked by one's boss. So how, you know, what your boss's ambitions are. Is this person going to be moved to another role, or is he going to be, like they call it, dirt turkey, staying there forever and ever? If it's a private company, maybe. So you know what I mean. So essentially, can you move up in the career ladder? Who, you know, just look up who is above you, and you need to have a strategy for that. And then blocked for promotion, really important. You need to let your bosses know what you do, or stand up to them in terms of finding out, are you delivering value? Are you meeting the KPIs? Are you promotable? And not wait for you know, a miracle to happen. They say, oh, you know, so-and-so, you're great, you'll be promoted.
Yeah, here we have the questions regarding that, because it's not in our culture. Maybe so I have this question. So it's not in our culture when we are going to the boss and said, like, okay, I would like to be promoted. This is like, it's a little bit difficult for the most of the professional to say that. And it's the one question is like, okay, so I'm doing my job very well, but my boss is not going to promote me like for years. How to do it in a most efficient way, I would say. What is your advice for that? So how to ask for promotion?
Natalia, you just have to ask. You just have to ask. And I don't accept that this is not in our culture. How is culture formed? Culture formed by a group of people who sort of in spoken or unspoken way of behavior set certain rules.
Okay, but if I'm going to you, for example, you are like my boss and said like, Oksana, please promote me.
Well, you don't do that, obviously. So depending where you are. So also
so how to do it in better? Yes. So
what was the agreement? Obviously, you need to understand what's happening. Is there a potential place for so someone has left the company, or the company is growing and you want to perhaps move from one function to another function. So and that's, you know, in Western culture, it's not that people actually know how to do it very well. Trust me, it's a huge issue. People, women in particular, and some men, of course, as well. It's not that it's so widespread and everybody knows how to do it. No, it's not. It's a very sensitive issue because people don't really know their value. They don't actually keep a record of what they're doing. People are not doing an extra mile, which I call, you know, in every job, you need to do something a little bit more than you are asked for.
Okay, so if I'm going to ask for promotion, so first of all, I need to have a record. Yes, so from my work, I need to understand the structure of the company and what we are going to do. And I need to be ready to explain, so what extra work I'm already did in order to be promoted.
Something like that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it's quite easy. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Yeah.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what works tips? Just go through this.
We already discussed it, most of them. Yeah. So
yeah, I already covered, you know, a lot of those things, but I want to maybe highlight. Just really have an ambition. Don't be afraid. Have really high ambitions. The higher the ambitions, the more ideas you will find to put special strategies to achieve your ambition. So don't be constrained by what your country is doing or what your parents are expecting of you or what the society is telling you. So really set your goals very high. What I also want to say is that people tend to, as your earnings are increased, people tend to spend money and not to think about putting aside some money, because the more financial cushion you have, more freedom you will have in terms of choosing, especially as you go up the career ladder to the more senior positions in life. You need to have at least 1 year savings to not to worry about, like, not to absolutely kind of destroy yourself physically, emotionally if something happens, because external world, as you can see things changing. There is a war in Ukraine. Lots of things are happening. Climate change issues that everyone is talking about and tackling. It's all very serious. So please keep that in mind going forward, to have a financial cushion, and so that gives you more freedom. Maybe you want to study a little bit more. Maybe you want to move into something different. And even and another thing that I have actually got recently, be in different areas. Don't really focus just on one or two things in your life. The more responsibility, but it's obviously it's fun. So the more hats I'm wearing, better are chances for something even more interesting to come into my life. So do volunteer, do join some set up some groups for women out there, set up some women clubs or women organization to become stronger together, to help each other, to increase your visibility. It really works. I'm now working with a very exciting startup in geothermal energy sector, and I'm really like accessing all the women's groups and looking for, and we will talk.
I got it. Yeah, Oksana, it's also one of the questions which are like here. The one of the questions is coming from the guys. What is the website we are using mostly, or you are using mostly to find the candidates, and what you recommended to us?
Great question. Can we keep this question in mind and just see what's next?
Okay.
So we can finish
next
with...
one. Yes, and also one of the questions I got. You mentioned here the mentors, And I believe that here is very interesting. Also, one of the question I got. So how to find mentors? Yeah, so it's like just short question.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Look, guys. On first question, how do I? It's fun. It's really, really fun. So, and I recommend this. Listen to my strategy, and then you need to reverse that when you are looking for jobs. And you see, it's kind of like a reversal strategy, right? So what do I use? Well, first I go to my contacts. So what does it mean for you? You need to be known by people who are well connected, who are influencers in the industry, and be friends with them, basically, you know, and let them know that that's what you're interested in, and so on. So I go to my contacts and I say, who do you know, right? I mean, like I did last year with you, Natalia, and you were very helpful, you know. We appointed that particular person that you recommended. Then I, depending on what I am looking, I go to people who, for example, if I'm looking for financial controller or someone in finance function, I go to people in big fours, for example, like partners, and so it's actually counterparts, you know. So people in that actually work with a lot of clients. So partners in a PwC of this world, Ernst & Young, and so on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so if you are looking for service provider, you are going to the big four in oil and gas sector.
Yeah. Then I could go, I could obviously do, I look at the market. I segment the market. I look at who is doing what, at what stage of this company is, for example, right? You know, so if it's a startup, is it, you know, will I find something?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Is it a company that is going through a development stage, or is it the company that actually in this sort of commissioning stage, or they are doing something, enhanced oil recovery strategy and things
I
like
understood
that.
it. But, you know, it's, yes, and also I would like to mention that we have in SPE, the guys who asked me, so it's also, we have an SPE mentoring platform, which we can, Mario just send the link to chat. So the all SPE members is ready to find it's quite easy to find through SPE site, the mentors who will support your career.
Absolutely. And so just to finish on the strategy, and then of course I look at LinkedIn, so I connect with people constantly. So if you are posting, commenting, participating, and we have various tools in executive search, right? So now we can combine LinkedIn database with some other databases, and then we just use Boolean search, which basically brings me to the point that you absolutely need to work with keywords. And maybe we'll speak about LinkedIn, how to actually, so keywords are crucial. For if you're applying for jobs that are then processed through what it's called sort of recruitment tracking system. I hate it, but it
also can be very useful.
So it's really important. But because we live in the world of indexation and hashtags and keywords, then this is.
Yeah, Oksana, I'm very sorry because we have a huge amount of questions. Can
we finish?
Yes, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me for that because it's. I really would like to get the answer. Okay, next slide. Yeah. So, and we are going to the oil and gas, I believe. And here we have one of the questions for already. First of all, it's we have a shortage of personnel in oil and gas market. Yeah, so like what is your understanding, the recommendation to organize when you are starting the new business or you are prolonging your current one? What is your advice? Because we have shortage of people.
You have a shortage in Ukraine?
In Ukraine, yes, in Ukraine, because it's mobilization, the personnel is going to war. We have a lot of people who left Ukraine, and it's, yes.
you know what, Natalia, I think it's an extraordinary situation. It really is extraordinary situation. I don't think there is anything apart from being a bit more flexible about your requirements, and perhaps go to people who don't necessarily absolutely have the educational background that you need, create those opportunities, and also through potential extra training, extra yeah.
And here it's also a very interesting question from guys also. So what do you see, or how you saw it? So the quickest way, which are coming from the graduate to the team leader to the management. So the quickest part, it's what is your experience? We would like to be quick.
Guys, please, no, I don't think it's about this, the
speed.
It's not, because you can't predict it, you know, you can't predict where you're gonna end up. The only thing you can control is, are you moving? Are you learning something? Are you taking more responsibility? Are you building up a track record that actually, are you solving certain problems that will be in demand? Or the more you have that, the quicker you're gonna be. And also, I think it's combining your technical expertise with, moving to management as quickly as possible.
And here it's also the question. So do you think that it should be done within one company, or what is the reasonable timing for me, for example, to sit in one company and growing, or like change it regularly? So what is reasonable?
Okay, it's a very good question. I think in the past, what I've seen, if people on average are successful executives who are changing jobs maybe twice in their life. That was
only
twice. Only twice. The average tenure of a CEO now is about 5 years. Okay, so things are changing, right? And I would say, obviously, when I look at someone's CV and I see that someone has been changing jobs every year, I don't like that. That's not, you can't really deliver sustainable change, results in 1 year at a very senior or reasonably senior level job. So it's not the length of time. I think it's more, and of course, if you're working in a bigger company, but I'm talking generally. So we're in an extraordinary situation now, and Ukraine and Romania is completely different market as well. I am speaking more of Western companies. So it's better to seek opportunities within the company than go outside. That's for sure. But sometimes, if, as we said, blocks, your boss is not going anywhere because he's the best friend with somebody in the company, and he's going to be there until he retires, then you don't have that much time, to wait. So you make a decision and be strategic about it, right? And everybody will understand that. Okay, so
okay.
Yeah.
And here it's yes, and it's thank you very much, it's very valuable. So my understanding is that 2-3 years it's the minimum to have better understanding of or get some results, and it will be you will see on that a more result oriented person. Yeah, okay, so 1 year it's a little bit
no, it's not. Well, I dig in, but when I first look at the CV, I do mark, years specifically, 2 years here, 3 years there, so then I kind of build up kind of the, my own.
I understand. Here it's a lot of questions regarding the CV. Good that you mention it. So what I can say is that we understand that now you are looking for the terms of each work. It's understandable, but it's also some achievement I believe should be there. But what you are looking for as well. So what is it
Wow, CV is such an interesting subject because every recruiter is going to give you a different story. So please don't listen to anybody, right? Just use your common sense in some ways. But I always say that the best way of getting a job is when you have done so much work before you send your CV in. So basically, someone is already, it's not possible, all the time, but sometimes it's possible. So you lay down the groundwork, you understand what hiring managers want, you made the connection, and then you only send your CV just for the record in HR, sort of,
Okay. Okay.
box. But I think two things I want to say about CVs. One, write your CV not for what you've done in the past, but write what you want to achieve in the future. Okay, so I don't know how you're gonna understand that, but it does work. Second of all, it's not a history document; it's a marketing document, guys. So what do you want someone to see on the first page about yourself? What is your trump card, so to speak? So sometimes it's your education that you want to showcase first. Sometimes it's your achievements that you want to showcase first. Sometimes it's your valuable kind of like expertise, skills and things. So yeah, and then also don't use too much jargon. The best CVs that I've seen is top executives, which is so clear what they've done, why they went into that job, what they were expected to do, and what they delivered. That's basically it. It doesn't be complicated.
So why I took the job, what I expect, and what I deliver. Yeah.
And
so
also in what environment, because people think that a company in Ukraine will be known in Canada. No, so nobody knows what Укргазвидобування is, or in case of Romania, the
Petrom.
Petrom.
Everybody knows Petrom. Everybody knows.
Well, but don't assume.
No, I'm joking.
Depends who you are actually working with. Sometimes in recruitment, people are just ordinary people. They don't really have that. So it's a state-owned company with 3,000, 5,000 people working. I am in such and such division. Blah blah blah. Just tell this a little bit of a story to someone so it just shows that you are a little bit paying attention to this thing. So if it's a smaller company, so where it's operating, what's the geography, lots of details.
So to explain a little bit, yeah, okay. And here is should I prepare my CV for every position, or I can use general one? Should I update it? What is your advice?
So time consuming, and also if you keep updating, you will just go crazy. It depends. If you have a lot of knowledge, inside knowledge, you spoke to people who work in that particular business or team, then you can tailor. But if you are applying, then I think having a very good general CV which explains your ambitions, explains your
goal,
experience, explains your career history, as well as underpinned by education and also extra things. I mean, look how LinkedIn is actually providing the structure for a profile of someone,
Okay, and also question regarding to CV and general experience. So MBA or PhD. So is it mean and what it means for you?
Okay, so I see a lot of people in G&G, which is geophysicists, geologists. The PhD is welcomed, okay, but not in anything else. As far as MBA is concerned, I think it's very valuable if it's from one of the top business schools in the world. So it's expensive. So if you can find ways to do it, please do. It's obviously a good way to obtain. But also, I've seen numerous cases when people don't have an MBA and they built a brilliant career. So,
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's not a prerequisite, and actually it's expensive. And some people make good use of it and significantly increase their path. They only if they go into consulting. By the way, people in your sector, SPE, petroleum engineering degree is very valuable, and it can be the skills can be transferable into a lot of other. So what are the industries that pay really well? Investment banking, consulting, management consulting, and oil and gas and IT, basically. So that's
Okay. So oil and gas still paying well. And then it's good known.
MBA can help because actually it was designed for engineers in the United States after the Second World War, because they wanted to improve their business skills, their commercial skills, to broaden their worldview, as well as provide them with some kind of, if you're alumni of a particular business school, they work very hard to connect you to potential employers and things like that.
I got it. So yes, return to your presentation about the oil and gas industry. Can you please little bit tell us?
Well, just
there are a lot of questions here.
Just a few words. I think if you read about what's happening, you probably get an impression that oil and gas is bad. It's not
old school.
Yeah. So we need to be concerned about climate change. We need to totally abandon all the production wells and development projects, and live on renewable energy, which is at the moment is basically wind and solar, and it's intermittent. It's huge problem right now. So two camps, and I honestly think that we will see a parallel development. So you always need to understand things about funding. So I spoke to a few executives before preparing for this presentation. There is no money in exploration for oil, period. Okay, and I don't think this is going to change. There is no money. It's impossible to raise money. So capital markets are closed, which is bad news, because how it used to be is that small entrepreneurial companies would start exploration companies, and this, I built the entire career on these developments in the past. So, but capital markets are still accepting gas. So, and I even been approached by people who are thinking about starting oil or a gas company in Ukraine, for example. We'll see how things are going. And development projects in gas will continue for sure, because it's considered to be cleaner, and look what the prices are like. So I think we will see only big players. Unfortunately, there will be, like in the past, you would see like people when they move, because not all senior manager in big oil companies can then, because the pyramid is going narrower, right? So a lot of them, for example, during the pandemic, I remember BP cut all their middle management and senior management positions. So people were basically got good redundancy packages, and then started thinking what we want to do in life, right? And a lot of them are still possibly either retired or moved into geothermal or some other. It's not easy. It's not the same. And also I want to share with you that the return on investment in renewable energy, things like wind and solar and maybe hydro, is not great. It's about between 5 and 10%. When in oil and gas, it's 25 and 30. There is no brainer that.
So follow the money.
Follow the money.
Again.
Absolutely, follow the money. And where the opportunities are, there are certainly at the moment, they are abroad. So in Latin America, Brazil, Guyana, possibly, I don't know what's going to happen when Venezuela, things are opening up there. In Canada, I'll share maybe with you or with organizers, with Yuri, this piece from Canada where the government is sort of pushing for green jobs and moving people into green job because they have the great shortage of people in that area. But actually, their job, their salaries are twice as much in the oil and gas industry than in green industry, right? And return on investment and financial results are much, much higher. So people that I deal with, they don't live in oil and gas industry, basically.
Okay, I got it.
So, and I believe personally that this will continue for some time, because like in the UK, millions of, like my house is using gas boiler. So there is no way I can change it to anything. There is nothing available right now that would compare, even with such high prices that we're currently experiencing.
Okay.
So it will take like 20 years. I think it's enough career length to build a good career, basically. So this is what I'm saying.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, so it's yes, it's quite interesting. Also, is there any idea you have, like, what do you think that we all hope that the war will be ended soon, and what is your understanding? Should we expect international companies who is coming to Ukraine?
I would like to see this happening. Absolutely, so not. You know what, guys? I think the world is at the brink of something very terrifying, at the same time a very interesting period in terms of how we want this world to look like. Okay, so what side are you on? So absolutely, I think given that the political environment improves and there is a legal and commercial political situation which supports foreign investment, we are going to actually do really, really well, not just for ourselves. There are some advantages in Ukraine. For Romania, I feel, again, I was just looking the tax bill, which was imposed in 2018, forced all the investment decisions into development of discoveries on hold. People are leaving. There is competition. So, and I think perhaps members of your chapters, either in Romania, and can do something about it. Maybe lobby for it. Or just kind of position yourself for this potential influx of money and be ready for
to apply. Yeah, so to be ready to apply. And it's also I'm sorry, yeah, so I understand that we are shorter time, it's already we are limited, but the two questions which are very important, the most important, I would say. The first of all, what is the highest salary you saw in your life?
Well, the highest that we recruited for was around 1 million. But just to give you an idea, that maybe top 20 oil and gas company CEOs earn between $5 and $25 million a year.
Per year.
Yeah. That
okay. Yeah. So I don't think that I have more questions.
Yeah.
No, but it's.
No, but mind you, it's not basically executive compensation consists of base salary and then a lot of other things, including shares, including pensions, including bonuses, and this could be like 300%. So every company is different, but yeah. So I just checked for you specifically what it looks like, because I haven't looked at the top
But it's, and here I have one question related to this and one more. So it's like for example, if you are you are coach the person whom you are going like to whom you are coach, so are you advise the structure of salary he should apply, he should ask, and are you advise the all the salary composite, all the salary like how to make it? And because, for example, like I don't know what is the salary should be in Switzerland, for example, or in I don't know, in UK. I'm going to you, and are you going to advise me like Natalia, you need to take like that and that?
Well, maybe we can discuss it, right? So what is your expectation? What I can obviously find information for you, what the market
propose
paying for comparable jobs, right? So you have to keep that in mind, that for example, like in my current search, my client has a budget. Okay, so we are recruiting a lot of people, but we do need to stick. They put that potential salaries into their budgets.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, so this is easier. And the last question. So we have a lot of foreign specialists in Ukraine, which have come to our country recently. Yeah. And the questions from our guys is calling that like how Ukrainian can get the same salary as expats here in Ukraine. We all understand that expats is got to get more than Ukrainian.
Well, I think the easiest way is to become an expat. And how do you become an expat? Well, you can join an international company, which will certainly has a different band, wage band than Ukrainian company, and or go and get an international experience and then become an expat.
Okay, so international experience, and it's very good. Yeah, so. Yeah, if you can send like a last page of the presentation, and yes, I understand that I have a lot of questions in my list. Most of them we are already discussed, but there are some of them. But I try to get as much as possible from you. And Oksana, I'm highly appreciated you as a host here, and it was very interesting for me. I hope it's also interesting for everyone else. And again, thank you very much for your support. It was very interesting.
You're absolutely welcome, and I hope that we somehow inspired some people to really go for your. You can be anything you want to be. We live in the global world. Everybody, it's a equal sort of opportunity world, and it all depends on you, how you play your cards, how strategically you position yourself, how you stand out. And I'm sorry we didn't have time to speak more about LinkedIn profiles, and I can give like workshops. So if there is an interest on specifics concerning resumes, concerning how to create LinkedIn profile and be effective with it, so I'll be happy to come back and somehow to help to create. Let's create future leaders. And certainly for Ukrainian participants, Ukraine now is very, very good brand now. So take advantage of that, and we deserved it all. And so I wish you to be all safe and all the success in whatever you're doing. And thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone who participated in this meeting. And if it's possible, please submit any names of person you would like to see here, and whom you would like us to invite for the next talk. We will be appreciated for that. Thank you very much. And it was, yes, it was pleasure for all of us. Have a good day, guys.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye.